In this video, I'll show you how to back up an Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager virtual machine by using the REST API. The backup procedure consists of creating a snapshot of the virtual machine you want to back up, get the snapshot ID, which is used in subsequent steps, get the disk ID of the snapshot, which is also used in a subsequent step, attach the snapshot to a backup virtual machine as an active disk attachment. This backup virtual machine has software for managing the backup installed on it. Backup software is provided by an independent software provider. Refer to the overt ecosystem at https://catalog.redhat.com for supported backup vendors. Use the backup software on the backup virtual machine to back up the data on the snapshot disk. I'll assume you are familiar with using the REST API and have already obtained the CA certificate used by the server and saved it to a local file. But if not, check out the previous video on getting started with the REST API. The first two steps of the backup procedure, creating a snapshot of the VM you want to back up and getting the snapshot ID, were demonstrated in the Getting Started with the REST API video, but I'll quickly review the curl commands used in that video. This curl command creates a snapshot of the virtual machine you want to back up. The name of the snapshot is backup, and here you provide the VM ID of the virtual machine. This curl command gets the snapshot IDs of all snapshots for this virtual machine. I've extracted the snapshot ID of our backup snapshot from the output, and I'll save this information, as well as the VM ID of the virtual machine we created a snapshot of, in a notepad for future reference. The next thing we need to do is get the disk ID of the snapshot. I'll open up my terminal window, and I've created a script which contains the curl command to get the disk ID. Provide the CA certificate file. The HTTP method in this command is get. Provide the header lines and user login information, and provide this HTTPS line with the name of your API server, /overt-engine, /API, /VMS, the VM ID of the VM that we want to back up, /snapshots, the snapshot ID that we created in this video, /disk. I'll copy the VM ID from my notepad and paste it. And I'll copy the snapshot ID from my notepad and paste it. Now I'll save the file, then run this script to get the disk ID. The output shows the disk ID. I'll copy it and save it to my notepad for future reference. Finally, we need to attach the snapshot to a backup virtual machine as an active disk attachment. I'll open up my terminal window, and I've created a script which contains the curl command to attach the snapshot. Again, you need to provide the CA certificate file and the user login information. The HTTP method in this command is post. Provide the header lines. Information required for the disk_attachment data includes the disk ID and the snapshot ID. I'll copy this disk ID from my notepad and paste it. And I'll copy the snapshot ID from my notepad and paste it. We also need the disk interface type, and for the HTTPS line, we need the VM ID of the backup virtual machine. This is a VM that is running backup software provided by an independent software vendor I mentioned earlier in this video. In this video, my backup VM is named backup_VM. I'll browse the General tab and copy the VM ID and paste it into my notepad, and also paste it into my script. And I'll browse the Disk tab to get the disk interface type, which is VIRTIO. Also notice there is a single disk attached to this VM. After we run this script, we'll see that a second disk is attached. Now I'll update my script with this information, entering VIRTIO as the interface for the disk attachment data. I'll save the file and run the script. I'll browse the Disk tab for my backup VM, refresh the screen, and now I have the second disk attached. Hovering my mouse over the entry shows that this is attached to two VMs, the VM that I took a snapshot of, test-vlind02-b, and my backup VM that is running the backup software. I'm not going to demonstrate this step, but you can now use the backup software installed on the backup virtual machine to back up the data on the snapshot disk. After you've backed up the data, you can perform a couple of cleanup steps using the REST API. This curl command removes the snapshot disk attachment from the backup virtual machine. Provide the VM ID of the backup virtual machine, not the virtual machine that we made the snapshot of, and provide the snapshot ID. And this curl command deletes the snapshot. Here you provide the VM ID of the virtual machine that we made the snapshot of, and provide the snapshot ID. This concludes this presentation. Thank you for watching.